If you're wondering what's going on with my face, well, if you'd been here for the last video, you would have seen it. I'm wearing an almost full face of LYS Beauty. It's my entire base and my lip situation, actually. Everything that's on my eyes is not LYS because they don't have eye products, so I had to get a little creative there. It's this palette. I used this palette. It's so lovely. Big fan of that. In the last video, you guys got to watch me put this look together. I did talk a little bit about a few of the products, but the main point of that video was for you to be able to see them in action, watch me apply them in real time, and see how they look on me. We're doing more talking today because what I'm doing today is I'm ranking every LYS product I've tried, which is, I'd say, 95% of their line. I'm ranking the products I have from least favorite to most favorite. And the reason why I'm saying least to most instead of like the worst and best of this brand is because there's not a bad product in the lineup. There are a few that don't work for me, but that doesn't make them bad, and I would say that about any brand, not just this one. I feel like making that very clear because, as I did mention in the last one, and I've mentioned a few times before, I am a brand ambassador for LYS. Just for anyone who's new, I do have more new people here since the last time I talked about this, I think. It's through a third-party thing. I'm an ambassador for them through Brandbassador, so it's not like I was reached out to by the brand or personally know anyone on the team or anything like that. This is all very much something I'm doing of my own volition. There's so much about this brand that I love, but that doesn't mean that every product they come out with is going to be for me, and so I feel like it's worth being honest about that kind of thing. And it's not because I dislike the products or I think they're bad. I'm actually going to make sure with the ones that don't work for me to highlight the reasons why I think they might work for other people because I am a combo oily gal and I have pretty minimal texture issues, and so if you have a skin type or tone or texture that's even marginally different from mine, you're gonna want to know what doesn't work for me and why it would work for you, if I'm making any sense. I absolutely think that's a very valuable thing to be able to have a discussion about. So that's the point of today's video. Any negatives I list are purely to do with me and my skin type and my own preferences. And the reason I dislike something might be the reason you love it, and the reason I love something might be the reason you hate it. That's just the way it is. No product performs the same on everyone uniformly, you know? And I mentioned this in the last video too, which is that there is not a brand in existence that has a complete lineup just full of products that work for me and don't have anything that's a dud. That's never gonna be the case, and so that's not gonna change just because I'm affiliated with a certain brand or not. You getting me? I hope so. This video is not sponsored or an ad in any way. They don't know I'm doing this. I was not asked to do this. I'm just doing it because I feel like it, and I feel like it's worth talking about, and I think it's interesting. I do have an affiliate link always. That's going to be linked in the description box. If you shop through that link, I do make an itty bitty commission off of that, so thank you in advance if you do. I do also currently, as of today, the day I'm filming this, not the day you're seeing it, I did update my discount code with them. This is what it is through January 1st, 2023. After that day, I will have to update it to a new code. I have to change it every month. It's a whole thing. And I might not update you here, so if you want to always stay updated, if you want 20% off LYS at any given time, I do have a highlight on my Instagram page dedicated to that, as well as various LYS related bits of news that I like to keep you guys updated on over there, so that's a good reason to follow my Instagram if you don't already. That, as well as any and everything I'm up to on the internet, is going to be linked down below, so be sure to check the description box before you leave. Anyway, that was the intro, I guess. Let's just get into the actual video now. Okay, starting with least favorite, and again, this is not a bad product. I don't even dislike this product. It's just that there are others along the same vein that I like more and that I would recommend above this one. And that's the Think Bright Glow and Hydrate Serum. The serum is a blend of vitamin C and hyaluronic acid. So something I will say about this is it being a blend like that with the hyaluronic acid definitely works in its favor. It's a very hydrating serum. I don't know if you can tell if I get really, really close. There's like little, it appears to have like itty bitty little micro shimmer in it, but thankfully that doesn't really show up on the skin, if you know what I mean. You don't have like glitter sitting on your skin. I've never experienced any blocked pores or anything like that. It's just like the finest little shimmer in there. Not really necessary for a skincare product, but I think that this is also kind of meant to go with your makeup priming routine, and it does add a really nice glow to the skin and give you a very smooth and hydrated base to start with. Here's the thing. I don't think, as vitamin C serums go, that it's particularly effective. I just don't. I think if you've been worried about incorporating vitamin C into your skincare because you have a more sensitive skin type and you think it might hurt you, this might be a good first one to try because it's blended with the hyaluronic acid and also a lot of other really good for your skin ingredients. This brand takes sensitive skin in mind with its formulation. I don't have a very sensitive skin type at all. So I don't typically look at products through that lens. There is another vitamin C serum that's also quite obviously well formulated for sensitive skin types. It's from Dear Claire's. It's the Vitamin Drop. I'm sure you've heard about it before. That is a vitamin C serum that I would recommend because I've used it many a time and genuinely love it, and I literally saw results for the overall tone and texture of my skin within a week, within the first week of using that serum. With this guy, it's almost too gentle. I really think it's more hyaluronic acid than vitamin C. So again, if you have a particularly sensitive skin type, you might really dig this. This might be a really good first serum for you to try if you're looking for a vitamin C product to incorporate into your routine, because vitamin C is very good for you both inside and out. My skin loves it. I always have to have it somewhere in my routine. I'm almost through with this guy, and just for my own personal preferences and the way that my skin is, I don't think this is going to be a repurchase for me. I'm glad I tried it, and I don't think it's a bad serum at all. It's just I need something with a little more oomph, you know? I'm good on hydration in my skincare routine. My cat is in here brushing against things. Sorry if you can hear him, little intruder. But I'm good by way of hydration in my skincare. So this being a very hydrating serum, I think is a benefit for it, but it's not necessarily a need for me. Next up in this list, the primer. The primer, kind of in the same way with the vitamin C serum, it's good for hydration, and that's it, for me, personally. The claims of this is that it's a gripping serum primer. I agree with the serum part. It almost feels like a gel moisturizer, but more fluid. It is very serum-like, and very hydrating but lightweight on the skin. Your skin's not being smothered. It just provides a really nice, smooth, hydrated base for your makeup. The gripping part, not for me personally. I actually did a TikTok back in the summer where I did a side-by-side wear test. I used this primer on one side of my face and the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, which is my personal favorite, on the other side, and I wore my makeup over that for I think 6 or so hours and literally did a side-by-side comparison, and that really kind of put into perspective for me how much this actually doesn't grip my makeup the way that I would have expected it to. I mentioned in the last video, it doesn't leave your skin as tacky as a lot of gripping primers do, and that is actually the problem that I have with this. It's more hydrating than gripping, for sure. I just noticed, you know, when it was side by side with the e.l.f. one, that it wasn't like my makeup was separating on me or anything, but there was more visible texture and my smile line just broke apart immediately. So I mean, the e.l.f. one is more affordable. I would absolutely recommend that one before this one. But I mean, if you have really dry skin, like really dry skin, and you're looking for a primer that's going to hydrate your skin without feeling like too much, this is a good option because it is very good at the hydrating part. And it is very, very lightweight and very comfortable. Here's my cat again. Please don't knock over my tripod. You can come up here. You can come up here. No, you don't want to? Oh, what? What do you want? Oh, there he is. There he is. Come here. Say hello. My handsome boy. Don't be camera shy. There he is. Oh. You gonna stay? No, you're tired of me? Okay. That's all it took. He's very fond of his space. Anyway, kind of along the same vein as the serum, they're both great for hydrating, but in terms of actual effectiveness with the other claims, like, you know, vitamin C serums are supposed to really even out your skin tone and texture, really brighten your complexion. I don't really feel like this does this, at least not as much as the Dear Claire's one does. And this just doesn't give me the grip that I need, you know? I am an oilier girl. That probably is pretty much entirely the issue, is that it's just my skin type. But if you have a drier skin type, or you have less texture than I do that you don't really worry about coming through so much, you could absolutely get some use out of this. Next up, this is only so low down at this point because my initial impression of it was so bad, and I feel like I need to use it more to get a solid idea of it. But I used it today and I thought it looked really beautiful. So more tests are needed, but the liquid highlighter formula, the first couple times I used this, I swear it just separated like mad. Like, it felt like an oily serum full of glitter, and it did not look good on my skin. So today I remembered that and I shook it up really, really well, really well. And it came out like molten metal, like liquid metal. That's kind of a theme with the LYS highlighters. They come out looking so metallic, but then they go on just very smooth. This did definitely, it looks like it's too warm for my skin, and it is, which is why I used a very, very light amount of it today. I meant to put it on under my foundation, but I forgot, and I did my concealer and foundation, and then I popped this just on the high point of my cheek, and it went on very serum-like, very smooth, not really super pigmented, so that warmth didn't come through. It definitely didn't, it worked for me. It wound up working, which was good. So I think definitely, if you're gonna try the liquid highlighter, again, I think this is a product I'd recommend more for dry skin types versus oily as well, because again, it could have just been it not playing well with my skin. That was also part of the issue before. But again, today I shook it up and it worked fine. I just wasn't expecting to have to do that the first couple times I tried it, I guess. The packaging is messy. It's in the same packaging as the primer, and that is a gripe that I have with both of them, is that it's a little messy and it comes out a little, it's a little hard to control the amount you get out of this kind of squishy tube that they use. I let it sit in my highlighter collection unused for such a long time because I was convinced that I did not like it. But I'm glad I tried it again today because I want to use this more. So I'm going to. Maybe it will climb higher up on the list as a result. We will have to see. It's not like any of the other liquid highlighters I have in my collection, and I've yet to determine if that works to its benefit or its detriment. We're gonna find out eventually here. So now we've kind of gotten through the lowest tier on this list. We've gotten through the products that I probably wouldn't repurchase for myself, if I'm being totally honest. And now we're getting into the stuff that I like. This is a product that I use a lot. This is the Speak Love Glossy Lip Treatment Oil. Yes, that's the name. I have the clear one. They did, for the holidays, release a set that comes with 2 new tinted like shades now of the lip oil. I only have the clear one. I haven't tried one of the tinted ones yet, and the reason why is I don't typically use this during the day or in conjunction with a makeup look. The main reason I actually use this is as a lip mask overnight, and it is perfect for that. I like this a lot. I definitely think I'm gonna keep using it for that purpose in the future. It's thick, but not so thick that it's uncomfortable or goopy or weird. Again, the packaging can get kind of messy. I don't love that so much. I thought that everything is like triangular in the line, all the packaging. I thought that the triangular applicator was kind of cute and fun, but in terms of practicality, not so much. It gets very, very messy, and again, kind of like with the packaging of the primer and the liquid highlight, difficult to control when it comes to getting the product out however much you need. So that can get a little messy, a little goopy, a little sticky. Overall, it's not a super sticky formula, but it does have some grip to it. It's not quite as slippery as you'd probably be expecting this kind of product to be. I don't think I would personally call this a lip oil. I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, because I would say the same thing about the Fenty Skin Lip Oil, which I love. Oh my god. I've already finished my first tube of that. I've got the second one ready to go. This is only a little stickier than that. It's quite occlusive, very good at like sealing in moisture. It's definitely more of a gloss than an oil, and I don't mind that. It actually kind of makes it even more effective as a lip mask, in my opinion, because it's not going to fade off super quickly throughout the night. You can wear it overnight and it's perfectly fine. It's very soothing. It leaves the lips so smooth and supple and healthy. Big fan, like it a lot. Okay, as we get into all the rose gold reflective compacts and stuff, do not judge me for how fingerprinty these are. I can't do anything about it. Let's talk about the powder bronzer. This is only this far down on the list because of personal preference. It is a little bit warmer than I would typically go for in a bronzer now, at this point in my life. I think you can tell I'm wearing it today over top of a cream bronzer that we're going to talk about in a minute. I look quite tan today, more tan than I personally would have liked to. Even though this is warmer than I would typically reach for, I still enjoy it quite a lot because the formula itself is so silky smooth, it's so lightweight, you can go in with you can get a little heavy-handed with it, don't get me wrong, but it's actually such a sheer buildable powder that, I mean, even if you apply too much, it blends pretty easily. It's easy to correct if you wind up with too much on your skin. I enjoy it a lot. If they made a kind of a cooler tone version, because this is the lightest shade, if they were to come out with something a little more cool tone, I'd use that every day. Honorable mention to the brushes here, because I really only have the highlighting one. This is a really good shape for a lot of purposes though. I feel like you could contour with this, you can do some really precise setting with your setting powder with this shape, but it's also a beautiful highlighter brush, obviously. But yeah, honorable mention to the brushes, because this is the only one I have, but it makes me want to get more of them. This is a really nice quality brush. Blushes! This is the product that pretty much made everyone fall in love with LYS. It's the first product I tried from them that made me go like, oh, okay. This is in the shade Confident, and I also, full disclosure, did receive for free, for the purposes of reviewing, the holiday set with the 3 mini blushes. These shades are Grateful, Unforgettable, which is actually, I combined Unforgettable with Confident today. That's my blush today. And Empower, beautiful berry shade. I don't really have any other berries in my blush collection, so that was very useful to me. The Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush Formula. I know I talked about it a bit in the last video, but I'm gonna go over it again. This is such a unique formula. I don't have another cream blush formula in my collection that isn't like fairly emollient and just dewy and luminous on the skin. This truly does dry down to more of a satin matte finish. It's much more skin-like. It's surprisingly pigmented, but again, you can sheer it out. This is a beautiful blush formula. I like it a lot. Generally, I am geared more toward more hydrating, creamy blush formulas, so I just reach for those more. But I love, love, love these blushes. They are absolutely worth the hype. It's the product that made me, it's the first one I tried from them, and it's the product that made me fall in love with the brand and want to try more stuff from them, and that started the snowball effect. People love these for very good reason. And that brings me to another cream product that just stole my heart this year. Just one of my favorite products of the year, and that is their cream bronzer, which I'm wearing under the powder bronzer today. Sorry, I just think the packaging is so cool. The shade is, again, a little warmer than I typically would reach for. Let me actually, I've never seen it next to the powder one. Give me a second. It's so interesting. They look pretty much the same on camera, but the camera is also definitely warming them both up a bit. In person, I would say that the cream bronzer has more of a, they're so similar, but I can clearly see the cream bronzer is just a tad bit cooler and more of a yellow versus an orange undertone, and I think that is what puts it above the powder bronzer for me, is the tone is just that side of better for what I want in a bronzer. Also, this formula is just incredible. I wasn't sure what to expect from it when it was announced, and by the way, when it was announced, I was so beyond excited. I was supposed to receive this for free for the purpose of reviewing, because I get to do that sometimes with new releases. It never got sent to me, but at that point, I was so excited about it that I actually didn't care. I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. So I did, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad I did. I love this formula so much. I know that everyone, since the Skin Enhancer by Makeup by Mario came out, has been just raving about that, and that's probably like the it bronzing product of the year. I think it is. I love this as much as that one. I fully do. Again, it much like the blushes, it's surprisingly pigmented when you first apply it, but much like the powder bronzer, it blends like butter. It blends so seamlessly into the skin. It doesn't come across as too strong at all. Even if I feel like initially I've applied too much, it blends to a point where I'm like, no, it's actually fine. I'm fine. My base was in perfectly fine shape today until I added the powder bronzer on top. If I just stopped at this, I would have been fine, but I was trying to show you guys as much of each product as I could and all that. So that's how that happened. That's why I'm so mismatched today. Anyway, unlike the cream blushes though, this is a very different cream formula, and I find it very interesting that they decided to do this. This is much more of a traditional cream. It's very smooth. It's not as firm as the cream blushes are. And it's not a dewy formula by any means. I think it kind of comes down to, like, as after it's all blended out, it's more of that, like, healthy skin kind of look. It's not super glowy or anything like that, but it's also definitely not as satin matte looking. Am I making any sense? It doesn't look as matte as the cream blushes. They're very different cream formulas. This one's quite a bit more emollient and blendable, because the thing about the cream blushes is if you work with sheer layers like I learned to do because of how pigmented they are, it's fine. But if you do wind up applying too much, it can be a little difficult to move around and work around and tone down. I don't have that issue with this at all. This is pretty mistake proof. Whereas with the cream blushes, it can be very easy to overdo it, and then it gets a little hard to tone it down afterwards. Because this dries down to the more kind of satin matte finish, it's budge proof, which is great until it's not, and then it's a pain in the ass sometimes. But that's why we work with sheer layers and a damp sponge. This guy gets the job done quick and correct every time. It requires very minimal effort from me. This is very much a no fuss, throw it on and go about your day kind of product. Highly recommend. I love this cream bronzer so much. The next product I'm going to talk about probably seems like a boring one to a lot of people because it's just a setting powder, but it's not. It's not just a setting powder. I know a lot of people have kind of compared this to the Kosas Cloud set. I also have that powder and love that powder, and I do use them interchangeably. They are very, very similar. Even though I think the formulas are quite different, they have a very similar finish and effect on the skin. This one's more affordable though. I know that it has this kind of alarming yellow hue for my pale girls out there. It's a translucent powder. It's not going to turn your face yellow. It's not going to darken your foundation or add any kind of weirdness to your skin. It just is like such a nice, light, translucent veil on the skin. I'm a big fan. I love this a lot. I should, in case you couldn't tell, getting into the cream bronzer and upward. Now we're in the products that I love. Now we're in the top tier, babe. These are the products that I absolutely would 100% recommend. The powder highlight has no business being this beautiful. Look at that. It almost looks like it would be too dark for my skin, but for whatever reason, just works. Just works. This is like beautiful angel skin in a pan. If you're any fairer than me, even this lightest shade might not work for you, but that just means we hope they come out with more shades in this gorgeous, gorgeous formula. Again, just silky, unbelievably smooth on the skin. LYS just does powder particularly well. I've never had an issue with a powder product from them. Aside from the bronzer not being my perfect bronzing shade, that formula is beautiful. The setting powder, the powder highlight, all very, very beautiful. If they do more cream formulas, I like the formulation of the cream blushes. Do not get me wrong. As I said before, they're very unique to my collection in terms of what I have on hand for cream and liquid blushes. But if they did more cream formulas like this, I probably, if this liquid highlight was in more of a cream formula like this, I'd probably like it a lot more. I probably would have used it more by now. And I also mentioned in the last video, if they wanted to do eyeshadow in any vein, I think they would kill it. Particularly powders, because their powder formulation is so beautiful and so seamless and blendable and silky and nice. I'm gonna keep saying silky, it's just the word that comes to mind, I'm sorry. But also, if they wanted to do cream shadows in a formula that mimicked the cream blush formula, I think that would be really beautiful. Anyway, we're getting off topic. We're in the top two, and you're gonna know what they are. Number 2 is the foundation. This is the second product from them that I tried. It went this cream blush in the shade Confident, and then it went foundation and setting powder, and from there it all just... This foundation is so beautiful. It is so incredibly fluid and flexible without being, you know, greasy or breaking up on you or getting cakey and weird and doing the weird thing. It literally just kind of blankets the skin. It's like it like perfectly wraps the skin in this beautiful, beautiful light but very buildable light to medium coverage. I love it. This is my favorite. This is my favorite foundation ever. Much love to the NYX Born to Glow, because that's probably my favorite drugstore foundation, my favorite like affordably priced foundation, and it's essentially the higher coverage version of this in terms of finish on the skin. However, it does not have nearly as many good for your skin benefits in its formula as this guy does. This literally is, this very much feels like serum first, foundation second. It feels like skincare as you're applying it. It's beautiful. It's luminous without being so glowy or dewy that like if you're oily like me, you will be able to wear this. It's not going to be too glowy for you, and as long as you set it, it's not going to be like a dewy mess throughout the day as your natural oil wears through. It's just beautiful. It's just lovely, and I could not recommend it enough. However, number 1 spot, my most favorite thing that LYS has come out with to date, has to be the concealer, which came out earlier this year. Yes, this is one of my favorite products of the year. Top 5, potentially top 3 favorite makeup products of this year. Easily. Oh my god, I can't believe how much I love it. The highest up on the list are probably like the boring complexion products for a lot of people, but these are staples in your everyday routine for a reason. You wear through them a lot, so you want them to be really, really good. I do want to make clear that this is also a product that I received from the brand for free for the purpose of testing and reviewing and all that stuff. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad that they brought this into my life. I will always repurchase this. You agree? Good, I'm so glad. Don't knock over my tripod. Do you think it's time for dinner? It's not. You've still got a half an hour. Don't knock over my tripod. Stop it. You look crybaby. Yeah, go on. In terms of formulation, this is a really interesting departure from the foundation formula, which is so fluid and light coverage. This one's quite a bit more creamy. This one does have a bit more coverage to it. It's more of a medium to full. Again, very layerable, very buildable, very customizable in the coverage department. And the finish isn't as glowy as the foundation. The foundation has a pretty luminous finish. But this essentially is like quite a bit more skin-like. It's still not matte, it's not even satin, but it's definitely not glowy. It's very much like your skin, but better, in a tube. I'm very much the type of person to use my concealer in place of foundation, and this is a perfect formula for that. Again, very flexible, but I don't notice a lot of settling into my fine lines or any emphasizing of texture in spite of it being so creamy. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I understand a lot of people probably think it's silly that a concealer would take #1 spot on this list for me, but it's easily the best concealer in my collection. Listen, these are in top 2 for a reason. Top 2 spots. This has been my favorite foundation for a little over a year now, I think, and this very easily secured its place as favorite concealer. The first time I tried it, however many months ago, I don't really remember. It was earlier this year. When it comes to complexion, LYS has got you figured out. Where's the setting powder? I need to complete the trifecta. If you try nothing else from this brand, try these, because these are so interesting in the way that they seem like they're marketed for a very specific kind of skin type or a certain set of preferences when it comes to the base. Why were you acting like you wanted to jump up on my bed again? Sorry. But in truth, these formulas, I really do think will work for a wide variety of skin types, for different skin concerns, all that kind of thing. They're just formulated so brilliantly, and I love them. I love them so much. I cannot recommend LYS enough for the complexion specifically. All that being said, that brings us to the end of the video and the end of wacky lighting snitching on my base today. It's not that bad. It's pretty orange. My eyes are orange. It is what it is. I know, baby. It's almost time, but not quite. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. You're very cute. I know. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to hang out with me. It was very cool of you. I very much appreciate it. Let me know down below what you think of these products, if you tried them or if you're going to try them, based on my very brief review of each thing. Again, there is a link down below you can shop through. And I do have this code until January 1st, 2023, and then I will change it to another code, which will be updated on that Instagram story highlight. Be sure to check out all the links below to see what I'm doing on the internet, what other platforms I'm on, and follow me over there if you feel so inclined. I think generally on places like Instagram and TikTok, we have fun. I think. Consider giving this video a thumbs up or hitting the subscribe button and or the notification bell. None of those things are mandatory, but they are all highly appreciated if you do. I hope you guys are having a lovely, wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrate, wherever you are, whoever you're with. I hope that you and your loved ones are doing great and you're all staying safe and healthy out there. I'll see you guys back here for the next one whenever it comes out, hopefully very soon. I do have content planned through the end of the year, at least. Whatever, I'll see you back here for the next one. Bye, guys. I don't know where I left off. That's great. Do I know how to talk? Did I mix up my words again? No. Fuck, that was a good take and I fucked it up. Thank you oh my god. What the fuck? Because it's blended with the Centella Asiatica. Am I pronouncing that right? Centella Asiatica. Yes. I'm tired. If I have to change my camera battery one more fucking time, I swear to god. It's okay, Siku. These brushes? Someone's driving by and playing music. How dare they? Siku, you good? I hope you guys just heard that. I'm dealing with very cool dark lighting on all sides of me. Let me see something. I don't think that made it better. Whatever, it's fine. This is the end of the video. Here's the outro.